check that you have everything in it. I guess we fixed it.
Oh, is it fixed? Oh, yeah.
When? Fixed it. So you have this network, and it just wants you to find the shortest distance from E to X. So E to X, you can go, even though you can go upwards, 10 is shorter. And from 10, you can either go 6, 5, or 7. Ideally, you would choose 5, right? But from 5, if you want to go to X, you'll have to go through 10 and 10 or 30. It's quite big. So instead, you will choose 7 here, and then 10 for the next one. So it should be 10 plus 7 plus 10, 27 in total.
I got 46.
How do you do 26?
46.
Oh, 46.
Can you do the Crucible method for that? I think that's...
Crucible method and Prim's method, they both apply for what? Is it shortest path?
No,
It's minimum spanning tree. They're used for minimum spanning tree. For this one, you just have to choose which one is the shortest possible. So you do a through trial and error. Yeah?
Do you have to go to all the points?
No.
Oh, E to X, I'm saying, because I've done all the points here.
Okay. Next one. This is just the appreciation, right? The answer is 38,979.
Is this the nearest house?
To nearest 1,000. So this should be 39,000. 39,000. Any questions here? This is just a balance, straight line, what's it called? Yeah, big one in balance, depreciation. Question 18. For this one, it's easy to find that value, but it says you need to find at the end of the year how much money he has. So don't forget to times the whole thing by 12. This is what a lot of people will live out, right? Just make sure that you read the question carefully. He's making monthly contribution. So it's going to be the whole thing times by 12. And how much interest does Ahmed earn on his investment over the 5 years? How much money did he actually contribute? He contributed $750 for 12 months, for 5 years, right? So times them together. This is going to be how much he contributed in total, and minus that by what you got from question 8.
So I don't get it, but you just get it from the equity table?
What do you mean?
So 5% for 5 years, and it just times by 750.
Times it by 12. This is how you get the future value. But it wants you to find interest.
Okay,
Yeah?
yeah.
Our next question. 257.89. This is not hard, is it? Cost rule?
No.
Can you get a question for
Can you just put your tables a bit further away, please? That's not much.
That's I'm in line with that.
No, I don't want it to be in line with that.
No, it's too hot.
It is. Just turn it off. I don't even know what's on it. It's giving me
Yeah, so 5 minutes before everyone's like, why is this room always so cold? Yeah, it's like, oh my god, I can't deal with the heat. What can I do?
Yeah, I should do that. Okay.
Alright, turn it off, yeah? Alright, 5 minutes later, people are being so cold. So the first one is just cost rule. You'll get 257.89. And then the second one says, on what bearing must he hit the ball? So he will be because the ball is right down here. He will be standing right there to getting to the goal, right? So the bearing should be from true north to this one here. And you already have enough measurements to find out either this angle here, the big angle, or theta. I found out theta. So theta is equal to 79 degrees. That's from sine rule. So 79 degrees here. But how's that helpful to me? How's that helpful to me? If I know this is the true north,
Co-interior.
You have alternate angles. This is 79. Right? And the whole thing is 90 degrees. So you do 90 degrees minus 79. This will give you 11. This is the bearing. Isn't it a bit too loud?
Is anyone else speaking? Someone here.
The window's open, the heater's off.
Makes you dizzy, doesn't it?
What makes it?
It makes me sleepy.
Yeah, it does.
Sleepy.
It does? What the hell? Why don't I feel that?
So next time, no one should request me to put a heater on because I'm not doing that.
It was good up and running.
Question 20. I'm not sure how much your measurement is, but I just shortened it by half.
What about 7?
So it says it's from Big Ben to St. Paul's Cathedral. You can find these 2 points, measure it. It should be around 5.4 centimeters. And it says the scaling is 1 to 14,000. So you can do 1 to 14,000 and you have 5.4 centimeters now. So you can do cross multiply. And then that will give you this many centimeters, but change it into meters. Divide by 100. And then it says the drone takes 15 minutes to get from Big Ben to St. Paul's Cathedral. Calculate the average speed. So the speed is equal to d over t. Does anyone still not know how to use the triangle? The DST triangle? Whatever you're trying to find, you cover it up, right? And then you will get the equation straight away.
Is S on the top?
Huh? D is on the top. Okay, so there should be 0.84. Next question is a trapezoidal rule question.
Maybe it's what the hell?
Wait, calculate. So it says it takes virtual measurements every 18 meters. So that means the height is 18. And then actual measurements were 0.94, 105, 97, and 84. Where does 84 go?
They also confusing.
I think 84 is here.
Because it's 97 and 84.
Yeah, 97, 84.
And then what's with the other ones? The ones on top.
So it tells you every 18 meters. So the whole thing is 320, but it's divided into 4 equal parts. So every part is 80. Yeah? So that gives you the height, and then you just have to put it into the formula. Add them up. That's the area.
Miss, you know how I said to the nearest meter, so do we leave it like that or do we round up to 27 down?
You leave it like that. What it makes is you keep 2, so you don't keep any decimals. Question 22. It's 130.4 hectares is to be fertilized at 14 grams per square meter, right? And you need to know this is not going to be given to you. How many meters squared is 1 hectare?
10,000.
10,000. So it's 10,000 meters squared. So that means with the hectares, you times it by 10,000 to get meters squared, right? And then it's 14 grams, but it wants you to find your answer in kilograms. So change 14 grams into kilograms. You just have to divide by 1,000, then times these 2 things together. So if the fertilizer is sold in 40 kilogram bags, how many bags need to be bought? This is how much you need. And 40 kilograms per bag, divide. Right? Can I move on? Next question. Even though it looks weird, these squares don't really affect anything. You can guess what it stands for. Even a primary school year 5 can guess what it stands for. Actually, probably not.
What is it? Is it just not like activity as well?
You've done radial survey questions,
Meters.
right? What do they stand for? You have, this is meters. These are meters. The measurement is for the sides, and then you have degrees. T. These are T's. That's all. It doesn't really affect anything for this question.
Why is it blue?
Did anyone attempt this question? Yeah?
No, no,
So you have to pass it. So whoever that didn't attempt this question, that means you weren't using your brain hard enough. But honestly, it's very obvious to figure out what these squares are for.
Maybe it's just fill it in.
Huh?
You have to fill it in.
Do you have to?
Fill the squares in.
No. It's just like a typo on the thing, or like printing problems. So find the size of each angle at the center. You have, I think this one is 109. What sound was that? Outside?
Is that an accessory?
Huh?
Is that an accessory?
No.
No.
There's nothing that tells you it's isosceles. So you have 180 and 71. To find this angle, you just have to find a difference. Right? That's 109. Same on this side. You do 290 minus 180, that's 110. And whatever that's left off is going to be 360 minus the two angles you already know. So you have 141. It's 1 mark for each angle. Then the next one, the area of the triangular field. You have the angles, you have the sides. Half AB sine C. Right? All you need is two sides and the angle inside. And you have all these things for the three separate triangles. You just have to find them separately and add them up. Did you get it right?
No, I didn't do this one.
Can you copy it?
It's fun. I'm gonna rewatch the video anyway.
You got what?
I'm gonna rewatch it and like reattempt.
So why are you here?
Because like I'd rather you go through it like I don't. I'm scared.
Wait, who's got the answer?
Alright, next question. Don't worry about this one, because don't worry about question 24. In the HTC exam, if a question wants to find the break distance and the reaction distance, it will give you the formula. So don't worry about this question.
He's got me now and got it right. And got it.
If you've done it, just check your answer. But there's one thing I want to mention. If you go from kilometers per hour to meters squared, so kilometers per hour to meters per second, how do you do that?
You divide by 60.
Divide by
3.6.
3.6, right? From kilometers per hour to meters per second, you divide by 3.6. If you want to go from meters per second to kilometers per hour, you times by 3.6. This is something you need to know. Alright, next question, question 25. It's 2.4 years old. It's not a hard question. You're given everything but the child's age.
Can you just guess it?
No.
I don't know what we're doing like, doesn't take so much time.
If you do that, you're not going to get any marks. You're going to spend, say, 10 minutes on guessing and checking. Maybe if the teacher's nice, they give you 1 mark.
Mistake for that question. I did x times 5 and then I times it by 12. Like I did the bottom.
But why would you do that? You're given a formula.
Yeah, I know. I did that.
Yeah.
I did the bottom.
Which way is it? This is turn.
No, let her finish first.
Is that's wrong? I got it wrong.
Did you put the?
Yeah.
Did you put everything into the formula so you have this
Yeah.
formula?
Yeah, but then I times 5 to the bottom.
Oh, but what do you have on this side?
5.
To get rid of the fraction, you need to times both sides by whatever that's on the bottom.
Oh, you do both.
Yeah, on the bottom you have x plus 12.
Yeah.
So you have to times both sides by that. Okay? So you have 5x plus 12 equals 30. And don't forget, it's 5 times x plus 12, the whole thing. So you have to do distributive to get how much it is. Did anyone get 2.4? 2 people? Don't do guess and check, yeah? 2 is incorrect. It should be 2.4 exactly. And then it says how many doses for Samantha's child are containing this prescription. So it's 350 milligrams. And it's 5 grams each time. So you do 350 divided by 5. Right? Even if you didn't do question A, you are able to do B and C. They're very simple questions. Question C, the child needs to take the medicine twice a day. So for how many days can a child take it? So it's 70 doses, 2 doses per day, divide, 35 doses. Moving on. 27, the cuts are 55, 62 and 61. Can you check what answers and let me know if you want me to talk about any of them? Any questions here? And then I think it's sort of confusing that they didn't tell you question 27 is the maximized version of 26. So they're using the same network, it's just that after the crossing out thing, they use the maximized numbers. So now for x, because it's maximized, inflow and outflow should be equal, right? What's going into B? This x, and that's the only thing. And you have 5, 13, and 12 going out. So these things should be equal, which means x should be equal to 5 plus 13 plus 12. So that will give you 30. X is equal to 30. What about y and z? What about y and z? What's going into C?
13.
There's 13, there's y. And there's z and 1 as well.
1, yeah.
And there's z going out. So I guess, because there are 2 pronurals, it's hard to determine. But y is also related to point D. Right? With point D, 23 is going in. And you have y and 15 going out. So it should be y plus 15. The outflow equals the inflow, which is 23. So y is equal to 8. Once you have y is equal to 8, it's easy to find z. Right? Because you have 8 and 13 going in and 1 going in. Z is the only outflow. So z is equal to 13 plus 8 plus 1. And that's 22. And asks you which pipes are full capacity. So if they are full capacity, that means these numbers should be equal to whatever that's on this graph. And we found there are 4 edges. You just have to compare the previous one with this one and see if the edges have the same weight. Yeah, this question really should tell you 26 and 27 are related. Yeah, because it will make a lot more sense. Question 28. First one asks which part of the graph looks similar. Where would it look similar? It's when their values are close enough together. Right? And as you can see, it's probably it's this part. They sort of look like they're increasing at a similar rate. But once we go past this point, that's when they start to diverge. So starting that point, it will be not the same. So the first one, why the initial population was 500. The equation is 500 times 1.25 to the power of t. Now, initially, what is t equal to at the start? t is equal to 0. Right? So you substitute t equals 0 into this equation. You'll get n is equal to 500.
You just show that with
Yes.
Not sure.
Or else how are you supposed to explain it?
In words?
What would you say?
Yeah, that's true.
What would you say?
That's what I thought in words and I was explaining my yeah, so like you can say, because that's how much, they know, how much they took as for the project.
But I guess from your way of understanding it, that could be your interpretation and hence why you wrote that. It makes sense to me. But I think the purpose of this question is for you to do that. So I can't tell you that your answer is correct. Yeah, I understand where you're coming from, but I definitely think in the marking criteria I will count that as incorrect. So question B is what I said before, right? So from 0 to about 5.4, that's very similar. So 0 to 5.4. And the last question, it says, after how many weeks would their models differ by approximately 1,400 ants? So, like, I just counted the distance between them. So I chose a few points, and then I saw it was about here.
What if you said 9?
9 is also correct. So if you said anything around 8.5 to 9, it should be the correct answer. So that's yesterday's homework. Can we also just go through the Catholic paper? So that's the second last paper we did. I know we did it ages ago, but there's still a few questions left over. That's the second paper. I think we still have 2 questions left.
Oh yeah, 18 and 19.
18 and 19. Oh no, not calculated.
What was that?
Independent. So we didn't do 18, right? Starting 18 we didn't do. In these 3 papers, which one do you think is the hardest? It's probably this one, the second one, right?
The one I just did. Yeah.
The one you just did?
Yeah.
Really?
First one was like the easiest.
I think the one you just did is not difficult, it's weird. Like the questions are not something we're used to. It's not very HSC style, in my opinion. Catholic paper is definitely the most reliable one. Because that's like one of the 2 trials we'll be sitting in Canberra. And I actually, for this independent paper, like I said, last year we just did it in class. So for these questions, we're also not going to take them lightly, right? They're probably still useful for the HSC exam. Because they're like band 6, band 5 questions. So for this is question 18C. How tall is the building? So the building is at t equals 0, right? You substitute t equals 0 into the equation, you'll get h is equal to 20. So the building is 20 meters tall. And what's the vertical distance above the building that the object reaches? So because this is a parabola, it's going to be symmetrical. If you know this part is 8, and the peak is right in the middle, doesn't look right in the middle. It's right in the middle. That means it's going to be 4. So you substitute 4 into the equation.
It's not right in the middle.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to, I don't know why, it should start from around here. The graph is not very symmetrical looking. And the next one, the object is 35 meters above the ground after 3 seconds. So 3 seconds is, say for example here, it asks when will it achieve the same height again. So you go to the outside of this line. And it should be 1 apart from the center as well. So if it's 3, 4, this one should be 5. Because it was 1 second before you achieve the maximum height, and because it's a symmetrical shape, you're going to achieve the same height 1 second after as well. So it's going to be 5 seconds, but it asks after how many more seconds. So you do 5 minus 3. That will give you 2. Next one is quadratic. You're not required to do this anymore this year. Question 19. How would drawing a minimum... This question is easy, right? Minimum spanning tree just helps you to find the shortest distance to go through every single point. So this is going to be, I guess in real life, giving you the minimum cost. That's the purpose of it. And it just asks you to find the minimum spanning tree. And I found it to be 34 meters.
34. I got 32 and 47.
Did you go through every single point again? Oh yeah, you're supposed to, but...
It's why should be 14, there's 8.
Because if I pick 8, there's going to be a loop.
Miss, I did 14, 8, 4, 6, 4.
14, 8,
4.
4, 6, 4. So you're 2 more than me.
No, I'm 2 less than you. Isn't it beautiful? Yeah, that's right.
If you add up 14, 8, 4, 6, 4, that will give you how much?
I got 32.
That would be 32.
We'll give 41.
That's 36. If you put that in, it's 36. It's not 32.
I am 36.
Yeah? So the shortest minimum spanning tree should be 34, not 36. The only part you did wrong is here. You should choose 6 instead of 8.
Is for that, can you write that it's also will direct to the shortest path?
It's always what?
I wrote it will direct the consultant to the shortest path where all points will have access to.
Yeah, that's fine.
But you talked about cost.
Huh?
You talked about cost.
Yeah, ideally you should talk about cost. But as long as you say something about minimizing, you should be fine. Alright. Next one. Do you know how to change the subject?
Yeah.
If you have a surd, what's the first thing you've got to do to both sides of the equation? You've got to square everything, right? Square both sides. So you have the first step. Oh wait, so you're going from this to that. So you should first, because it's a fraction, times both sides by 3. So you get 3b equals pi squared h. And then r is what you need to make the subject. So you move everything else, so pi and h, to the other side. Can you touch the square yet? In this step, you can't touch it yet, right? Because it goes with r squared. You need to do it at the end. So you have r squared equals 3b over pi h, and then you square root both sides. And next question, a particular flask has the volume that, you just substitute it into the equation. And also h is equal to, it says h is twice the length of the height, so h equals 2r. You also just put that into the equation.
Miss, how did you go from r squared to r cubed?
Let me see. Because in your question, it's going to be, so 3 times 650 because the volume is 50, right? And h is equal to 2r, according to the question. So once you've substituted that into the equation, you can, so simplify first, you'll get this, and to get rid of the square root, you need to square both sides. And you'll see this actually is still an r at bottom.
Oh, so you
Yeah. At the start I was also like, how does the cube appear? But once you do a step by step, it actually just makes sense this way. And then the next one, calculate a radius. You just put it into a calculator, right? Whatever you have there. And if you're not able to do question 2, for example, are you able to do question 3? Yeah. You just put in whatever this conclusion is. It's already given to you by the question into the calculator, and here's your 1 mark. In the exam, don't give up these marks. Yeah. Even in the HSC, if a question has 6 points, it's not going to be if you come to question A, you're not able to do everything else, because we have to cater for the whole of the state, right? There's students a lot weaker than us. So if they can't do it, does that mean they're going to be 0%? They're going to try their best to get them to get a decent mark. That's why they will have questions like this. It will say show something, 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 so that they can make use of it in the later questions. And you guys need to definitely take the chance to boost up your marks by seizing these marks. Yeah? Alright. Next one. This network looks different than what we are used to. Right? It's giving you the forward backward scannings, but the actual duration of the task is on top. In your actual application, you can just think of it as the durations being here. Where?
This network is weird. It's open-ended.
How do you end up with AA?
How did I end up with? How did I end up with what?
AA.
Yeah.
A8?
Oh yeah, for question 2.
For this one, no. You just circle out the activities with the same numbers. And these
That's
are.
on the critical part. That's not on the critical
Oh yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah, so it shouldn't be here. This one shouldn't be here. So what's the duration, expected duration for this task? So see how 16 is the latest starting time and latest finishing time? There's still a 3-hour duration. Sorry, can you sit up? There's still a 3-hour duration for this task. So you need to do 16 plus 3, 19. And then describe what's meant by the float time. So that's 1 mark. We all know what the float time is, right? So you can delay this task by a certain amount of hours. And for A6, so A6 is here. Its latest starting time is 14, early starting time is 5. You just have to minus them. 14 minus 5. What the latest starting time for activity A3 is 9. That's because, let me see. Because you do 14 minus 2 minus 3. So it's from these two things. Question 20. This one is similar triangles. We know the side angle ratio. But the thing we don't know is we're missing a few things to find out how much h is equal to. Which side is h matching with? H is matching with this side. So I don't know how much it is here. Right? But in a big right angle triangle, you have 60 degrees. You have, this is 3 meters. You're able to find that side by using sine. So you can do, let's say it's x, sine 60 degrees is equal to x over 3. So x is equal to 3 times sine 60 degrees. And I just kept my answer as is, just in case there's any rounding. But that's not saying rounding is an issue here. It's just that I like to keep everything accurate.
So rounding down to 0.86.
You can. So now you have this side. This is 3 sine 60 degrees. So the next thing I did was find out how much side, let's call it y. Y is the adjacent for this angle, right? So you can do cos 60 degrees equals y over 3. So y is equal to 3 cos 60 degrees. And then from this, you'll get a ratio. This ratio should be equal to h to AB. Or what did I do here? The whole thing is 3 cos 60 degrees. So AB, this part, is going to be the whole thing minus 1 meter. So this 3 cos 60 degrees should be equal to h to 3 sine 60 degrees. Or you can just use decimal numbers if it's less confusing. Can we move on? Yeah.
It's up to like 340.
You do? Just let me know when in time. Yes.
Sorry. What's that letter at the bottom?
H?
Is that H?
Yeah.
What is H? Oh, hi.
Can we move on?
The business test.
Yeah.
This question I told you to not do, right? Question 20B. And 20C I also said don't do it. So that's it. So for today's homework, I had a look at the rest of the last 12 paper. I don't think these questions are very good, like they're not worded very clearly. So I thought it's probably better if we just don't do them. Instead, I have another set of 12 papers. So from tomorrow on, you don't have to bring this one, but you can bring this new one. It says NEAT on it.
Miss, how do we put the full trial papers on that?
Huh? So
I have some questions on here.
yeah.
So, what do you do?
See, these questions are not made by Nessa. These questions are made by the school.
And you guys
So maybe they're used to that, but we're using the Nessa languages. So I will ask you a one with the HC questions.
we still have answers on the order.
That's what you need. What was this thing?
Mrs. Are these actual lesson papers?
Huh?
Are these actual lesson papers or not?
These are also just school's papers. But also take these questions seriously. So today, can you please do, first of all, 1 to 15 from the first 12 papers, so the multiple choice questions from this booklet. I also have the networks booklet. For this, I have, it's all the questions that you have done already, but I just put them into different sections. There are questions that are just on definitions, so like Eulerian trails, I've done too many trials. And what's it called? Paths, circuits, and all that. There's also questions on minimum spanning trees and shortest path. And there's another section on maximum capacity and minimum flow cuts. And another one on critical path. So today, can you do the first section? Yeah. So two parts of your homework. First, multiple choice from second trial paper. Second, the definition questions from networks booklet.
So this is for now? For Strava?
Yeah.
Where do you answer? Where do you answer? Did you stop the recording?
No, I'll stop it instead. Is Shiza sick?
Yeah.
We'll be fine.